Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a great Friday. This is Borderline Banter. Appreciate you here. Yeah, I'm glad you made it through the weekend. Yeah, but as always, moving that mouse around, we have Dustin.
Well, sorry. I was a little distracted. I was moving that mouse around
Yeah,
around the planet. I hope everybody enjoyed their bonus day yesterday.
I
It- Oh. Well, either way, it's like a free day. Like, no charge. Everybody got a free day, extra day.
Connecticut.
Yeah. Normally, you don't get that day. We decided you could have that day. Thank you, Julius. Probably.
Happy birthday to all of them, because
Yeah.
it's pretty exciting.
Oh,
Like,
but that's kind of screwed up, though. How does that work?
um, yeah, I guess, yeah, I don't know. I used to work at a liquor store, and one year this kid came in, and it was February 20. It was March for, I mean, it's February 29th, right? Like 1 a.m. So he came to the liquor store because he just turned 18. Where I live, you can drink at 18. And he comes in, and he's like, hey, man, can I get some booze? I'm like, yeah, can I see your ID? I looked at it, I was like, hey, man, we have a problem. He's like, what?
Mhm.
You're 4.5. Like, what? I'm like, yeah, man, you've only had like 4 birthdays. I can't sell to you. And this poor kid, this
Four and a
kid,
half.
this kid, you can see he's about to break down in tears because he's waited 18 years to go to the liquor store. And now he's
Yeah.
there, and this curly haired motherfucker behind the counter is like, nope, I'm not going to sell to you, man. You didn't know this was a rule? It is not a rule. It's not. Anyway, I gave him a good discount and it made his night. But yeah, I was lying to him. I was like, I'm just kidding, bro. Happy birthday. But yeah, it works the same. You just celebrate it. Some people celebrate it February 28th. Some celebrate it March 1st. I think most do February 28th because it's still February.
Yeah, and my Googling isn't giving an easy answer, but in the eyes of the government, and this is where it matters for most of all, someone born on leap day is considered a year older on March 1. So in
Okay.
the eyes of the government, the
So
28th
then I
don't matter.
broke the law that night. I boosted him. Still considered him.
Um,
And no, it
well,
wasn't because it was March 1st, 1 a.m. So yes, it was
oh,
March
then
1st.
he would be
No,
totally fine.
yeah, it was exactly. It was March 1st.
Yeah,
So,
then that would
um,
have been totally fine. But that's also probably citing American law here too.
yeah,
So
but that I'm
Canada's
sure
probably
that's
throwing
very
fun
simple.
because this
Because
is from
yeah,
an
the
American news
28th
site.
is not their birthday, so that makes sense. They're not 8. Yeah, they're not 18.
So did you know
It's
they have a name for those people that are born yesterday?
Arians.
No, leaplings.
There's
Yeah.
this one story I read several years ago. You might be able to pull it up quick. With this mother, she had 3 kids, 4 years apart, all born on February 20th. And it's happened like once or twice before. That's pretty crazy odds.
Hmm.
Get there?
Yeah. Here, bonus story. We're
Yeah.
gonna call this a
Yeah,
bonus story.
bonus starting story.
Leaplings family has 3 children, all born on separate leap days. And this goes that shows that term I was saying. So, haha, there.
Oh yeah,
Um,
so
so Xavier Remington and Jade Estes all share a birthday, not just any birthday, but one that only comes around every 4 years. So wait, did they make like 3 kids all at once, or wait
no,
like 4 years between?
there's each a different year. So yeah,
Three separate times. So yeah,
four,
4 years
they got a
between.
0, 4, and 8 year.
The first one was unintentional, the second one just happened, and the third one is the one we actually tried on purpose.
So the second one and the first one just. That's pretty rude. What do you think that one kid's gonna think when he reads this? Like, oh, it was a mistake. Thanks, guys. I
Yeah,
appreciate that. Really
first
appreciate.
one, definitely messed up. Second one, I mean, just happened and
You
unintentional.
guys just
How are
have
those
sex once
different?
every 4 years? Is that
How is
how you
just
know?
happened and unintentional not the same, though?
Yeah, like I don't know.
Like, I feel like both first kids should be like, "You want me?"
So these
I
kids
mean,
celebrate their birthdays on February 20th. So the one kid's 20. Actually, so the one kid is actually 20. Oh,
oh, they have 2 other kids too. So those other kids just don't count, but they have
gave them
if
birthday
you're worried
presents, I
about
guess.
them feeling left out, they look at the positives. Every 4 years, I get to eat 3 times the amount of cake in 1 year.
But yeah,
Sure.
that was just something quickly. But yeah, hope you're having a good day. Hope you weekend.
Yeah.
Let's. I think we should
This
get
is
right.
weird.
I think we should get right to it.
Yeah. Let's
Um,
jump into what was our title?
Taylor Swift, coming from the people.
From the
Yeah,
people.
from the people.
Better not be my people. All right, BBC has this one for us. Bad blood over Singapore. Taylor Swift tour subsidies.
What?
Okay.
Subsidy. What? Why?
Yeah.
Billionaire.
Well, okay, so it's Singapore, so it's not America, it's not Canada. So, oof. The Singapore leg of the Eras tour has Swifties flying in from around the region. Ooh, that's fancy. All right. All right, I am not reading that first thing. Pillows. The city's hosting Taylor Swift's Eras tour this week, an honor, but one that has come at a cost. That cost was initially reported to be as high as S 24 million, L 14 million. Oh, okay, here we go.
American.
$18 million. What the hell is S? Singapore dollars?
Probably, yeah.
I guess they have their own. Uh, so $18 million for the 6 shows to be exclusive to Southeast Asia.
Huh.
So the culture minister, Edwin Tong, has since told Singapore's CNA the figure was nowhere as high, although he still refused to be drawn on the exact figure. The broadcaster, however, suggested it may have been just 2 million for all 6. Okay,
Uh,
so he's saying at least 2 million. They're saying up to 18 million. So that's what we're working with,
but why are they paying this
right?
billionaire?
But the fact that any money had been spent only came to light after an outburst from the Prime Minister of Thailand, who accused Singapore of paying concert organizers $2 to $3 million per night. That triggered criticism across the region. In the Philippines, a lawmaker criticized the move, saying, "This isn't what good neighbors do," and called for a formal protest against the grant.
So they're like, we
Ah.
don't want you to go here. We want you to stay in our country. More money for it?
Yep.
Now I'm
Sounds
assuming
like
Taylor
they.
Swift herself didn't.
Yeah,
No,
she has people that book
like
what she's going to
I'm not a
get.
big fan of her. Making
Nah,
clear
she's got plausible deniability.
she might be aware of it, but is that's but I highly doubt she. Sure.
So Swift is heard everywhere across Southeast Asia, home to roughly 700 million people, from alleyways in Ho Chi Minh to taxicabs in Bangkok. So for many, it was a punch in the guts to learn all 6 shows would be held in the region's most expensive city. Well,
But that's
oh,
what they did here in Canada. That's exactly what they did here in Canada. Actually, look at that here. I'm actually going to look into that tonight.
look what you made me do.
Yeah,
Wait, what?
write that down.
So flight loads of fans have been touching down at Singapore's airport all week, many coming from China and its territories. Swift isn't playing in China, so Singapore is the next best thing for many. Okay, I mean that makes sense. Have a bunch of people in.
That's his fifth package.
Yeah, they got stories of all kinds of the crazy things people do to get there, which you expect. She's got some crazy fans.
Yeah,
You're gonna have them when you have that many. How can you not?
but yeah, that's insane.
Travel package in July. Like these
That's
people have it like way early,
that's
super
sad that
early.
it cut that. I guess that's how they do it. Is they're making money?
Mhm.
Is it fair? I don't know. Actually, I have no clue. Oh,
Resales for the tickets are going for thousands. So like, yeah, if you want to go
but
to
is
this thing,
it
it's kind
fair
of
to someone
egregious right
like?
now.
I found out that's happening here. I'm not a Swiftie.
Oh, I'm not a Swifty,
I
but she
just
has some
hate
good
how I actually
songs.
use that as a term. That's I feel bad. But I'd be pissed off. My money went to having her come here. I already pissed off enough for my alone billionaire singer. You know.
Right.
Yeah,
So this says still, while it's common for governments around the world to give out subsidies and tax breaks to bring in events, the reported spend goes beyond anything else publicly known in Singapore. So yeah, your government is doing this, just maybe not for Taylor.
uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, who is Canada giving subsidies to bring events to Canada?
They did.
I bet there's some.
Justin Trudeau did invite her. He's like, oh, everyone tweeted. They said, Justin Trudeau, you should invite her. It's like, why does that? Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty insulting. That's it is like I'd be pretty off,
Well,
especially
look, I mean, they elected those people, so they can
yeah,
choose to not elect them next time around because, if you don't like the way that they handle the money, that's you go after them in the election. That's the democratic way to handle it. I assume Singapore's have no fucking. If it's a dictator, I guess just beg.
yeah. Like hey, like
Um,
if there's a
beg.
dictator, they don't care what you think.
Well, that's why I'm going with beg with a question mark. Mm, beg and hope.
But I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
this is just kind of weird. It's just weird to see like Taylor's already got billions.
Oh,
So,
1.1 billion.
but to your point, she's not the one negotiating this, and it's not just her getting paid for doing these shows. There's lots of people. She's basically a mobile company with how many people work for her shows. So,
Yeah, because but see that's just all contract. But the people who
full for
book it,
sure.
the people who book
But
it,
those
it's
people aren't billionaires, so they want these millions. She probably couldn't tell the difference.
but yeah,
Probably isn't even aware. If we're being real, she probably doesn't even know.
yeah. I highly doubt she doesn't have a clue.
Well, I mean, she's more concerned with where am I going, what am I wearing, how long am I going to be there, who's going with me, those things. Like she knows what's going on in those terms, but in the business terms, probably not nearly as much because like you got a whole shitload to do non-business. I don't know what else this is talking about now.
Yeah, I
Potential catchment. Do we learn a word? Do you know what it is? The action of collecting water, especially the collection of rainfall over a natural drainage area. Water catchment continues the whole year round. I don't think that's how they were using it.
well,
Hmm.
uh,
I mean, they're doing it again here. It's a basin-shaped area of land. Yeah, okay. I don't. Okay. Anything else on T Swift?
good.
You
Yeah,
said you're not a Swiftie, so this is mostly just a. Oh, look, governments are paying her to come there, which is crazy, but it's their choice. All right. Next up, looks like you found a follow-up.
yeah. From the sorry, yeah, just struggling here.
You are. This one is also from BBC. Texas wildfire. Officials warn the state's biggest ever blaze could worsen over the weekend. And yeah, we were talking on Wednesday about this, and at the time, it was the second biggest. You could already tell, spoiler alert from the headline, it has surpassed that other one. Uh, yeah, I think the other one's like 950,000. This cleared 1,000,000 acres on Wednesday.
We knew it
Yeah,
was gonna
and the last
spread.
thing, and the last thing I read is that they expect it to continue spreading throughout the weekend too. So
And continue.
right. So whatever this had, this is 3 hours ago. Whatever this has will still
And
not be the final,
as of Wednesday, there we
result.
when we talked about it Wednesday, there were no deaths. Fortunately,
Damn. Well,
oh yeah,
yeah,
I did read.
it's the guy surveying the charred lands after the wildfire swept through his town. And yeah, we watched some of the videos. Looked some. This is a little closer up, but yeah, it's just I don't know what these looked like before, but they're not cars anymore. Yeah, so officials in Texas have warned the state's biggest ever fire could be fueled further over the weekend with high winds in the forecast. So yeah, 2 people and thousands of cattle have been killed as the blaze continues to rage out of control. So yeah, that's where it's unfortunately there's a loss of life and the thousands of cattle. I mean, well, they're not people. This is going to have an economic
Oh,
impact.
for
It can't
sure, and
not,
like
right? Thousands of cattle.
that's someone's like yeah the fire. That's like someone's livelihood. Money.
Yeah,
That's how people fed. That's money.
yeah.
Depends on what kind of.
This
No,
this
sorry,
this
that's
is a
no.
huge impact. Like, and this will have some lingering impact too. Because I'm sure these cattle's were going to be meat that gets distributed to many places, and
Dairy cow.
those could be. Yeah, well, that's milk that would be
Exactly. Yeah.
distributed. So
Could be
either way,
lots. It
it's
could have
there's going to
been
be some economic
lots. Yeah.
impact. Even if you're not an animal hugger. If you're an animal hugger, you're probably just bawling now. And you're saying there's thousands and two deaths.
No way.
Hey, Avery.
Check
How's it
out your new.
going?
Did you check out your new badge you have?
So the Smokehouse Creek Fire, which is what they're now calling this, I think they were saying that on Wednesday too, spans over 1.1 million acres right now. And
That's got up 300,000 acres.
now, when we talked about it Wednesday, I think they said the fire was 3% contained. They are now saying 15% containment.
That's
So
that's
I hope it's not 12% for 2 days pace to get it all the way.
that's not.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but no, I
Because
think.
that's like
But like soon,
that's like
like,
2 weeks.
but yeah, what they got to do
But
is
I don't. It probably doesn't work that
they
way.
got to
So
try
hopefully I
to they
don't.
got to go ahead and try to do some controlled burns up ahead,
Yeah, yeah,
or
exactly.
do something like do something to try to. I'm not a fire guy, but I try to stop it so they can't cross, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, and they also have fire weather watches have been issued in Oklahoma. I guess there's a chance it could be a multi-state situation, and the Texas Panhandle from Saturday through to midnight on Sunday. So yeah,
Watches much.
and yeah, firefighters are rushing to contain the conflagration. Nice word there. I assume with like the controlled burns stuff, trying to have a line where it will stop.
Gotta get got it. That's yeah. As soon as those winds kick high, I
Okay, yeah,
just
it's in the northern region of the state, so that makes sense that it's nearing the bordering states of the north side of Texas there. And yeah, fortunately, the land is not densely populated, but millions of cows, calves, steers, and bulls are raised in that area. Didn't I just say the same thing 4 times?
no, they're all four different things.
I mean, aren't they all subclasses of cow, though?
I get yeah, but
Couldn't I have stopped at
no,
cows?
because we were asking if there were dairy or meat cows. Oh, that oh
What?
cow.
Well, it's more than just dairy and meat cows, because
Yeah, there's
bulls are they're fuck cows.
yeah,
Oh wait, are we past 5 minutes? We're way past. Yeah, fucking cows. I
um.
guess I don't know. Initial damage assessments, as of right now, show 400 to 500 structures that have been destroyed by the blaze, according to the governor. So that's the other huge economic impact, and this is literally more than just economic. These are people's homes and people's livelihoods and homes both. You already said livelihoods earlier, but like it's just the recovery is going to be
Governor
really
get
hard.
some. Look at the damage of the that has occurred here. It's gone, completely gone.
Yeah, yeah.
It's yeah. There's talked about this times when it happened. There it can come quick. Like
Yeah. The
um,
Texas Agricultural Commissioner
I,
is saying just my prediction, but it'll be 10,000 that will have died or will have to euthanize. So he's expecting it to be in the 5 digits for the animals,
just the
which
cat, not the wildlife. Not a wildlife.
yeah.
Um,
And
yes.
we've already watched some footage. I don't know if we. I mean, this is. I can't believe somebody's driving through this right now. Is
But
this a
maybe
fire
whoa,
crew?
there's a fire tornado.
Right. Is this? I would not be in this
But maybe
car.
you have to go. Maybe you're being evacuated. That's the only way out. That's how it was in Yellowknife.
Oh no, no! Look,
They,
there's a helmet. Look, that
he could
helmet
be
there.
yeah.
I think this is a fire crew of some sort.
Yeah, that
Watch fire engine drives through raging Texas fire. Okay, yeah, yeah. So this is the fire engine. I mean, that's why we have firefighters.
well,
They go
hopefully
into
get it
shit that
contained.
you and
Hopefully,
I never would.
yeah. Yeah. No, I hope they get some help. You guys send a whole
It's
bunch up our way when we.
yeah. Oh, and then I think there's going to be a lot of federal aid and probably other surrounding states aiding too, because like I said, this is going to be a hard recovery. It's really hard.
Texas finishing
Also,
that.
this is kind of crazy. This part here, cattle's are still alive, but the hooves have been burned or the udders have been burned. So even the ones that don't get into that death tally, they're still like it's still kind of it counts.
And
It's still
no, it seemed like watching the animals suffer. All for eating, all for hunting. Watching it, not very,
well,
especially like, especially when they're suffering. But yeah, so a lot of the 5% of the Texas.
And then this is an aerial view, similar to what we looked at Wednesday. Although you look at some of these houses and like some of the
Some of them
garages,
got
like
lucky. Lucky.
the house is like gone, but the garage made
Well,
it. Or no, wait, the house is
yeah,
here.
so some of them just got lucky. Maybe that's a guy who were
Yeah,
just the way the wind blows, or maybe knows. Maybe they had a nose.
this is Stinnett, Texas. So yeah, I mean,
You know what? You don't. You think they survived? It was a goal. They're lucky they survived. I'm like, probably not lucky. They got to survive with that. There is something called survivor's guilt, which you have no
oh
neighbors
yeah,
left.
that is
You're going to have some survivor's guilt.
aerial view of Canadian Texas, one of the squished towns in the Panhandles. This is really far up aerial view. I don't know exactly what we're seeing. I guess
All
is
around
that smoke
fire
from
to
the
the left and the
fire?
right. Look at the whole city's looks like. Yeah, that's insane.
So apparently Texas is home to 12 million cattle. To put it in perspective, when we're saying it's going to hit 10,000 plus is the prediction from the guy. There's 12 million there, so
But
maybe
that's
not the biggest economic impact in the world, but to some individual farmers, it's
what's for
everything.
life. They're just gone. They just
Yeah.
lost a whole life.
Oh, that's the with Texans. As Texas officials said, the losses will be devastating to individual producers as grasslands for feeding and farm buildings are destroyed. Governor Abbott said nearby counties and states have donated hay to affected areas, but they continue to face a shortage. Hopefully, we get more than just hay going.
But that's for the kids. You got to feed the. They probably burned up so quick, right? You got to feed the cattle. That's
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know.
Red Cross is on scene operating. Yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit
Oh,
more. It
just
looks
say
like.
the
Oh
people
no,
who
no, we
died.
made it.
We should talk about the two.
So in Hutchinson County, one of the hardest hit areas, 83-year-old Joyce Blankenship died in her home as wildfire engulfed her town. The other victim, yeah, a very old lady at home. Couldn't get out or could have been stubborn and just said, I've been here my whole life kind of thing. It's hard to tell.
I
Um,
get.
the other victim was a female truck driver, Cindy Owen. The 44-year-old was driving home from Oklahoma to Amarillo when the fire surrounded her truck. So, yeah, that sucks. That's a nightmare scenario.
Yeah,
She died in a hospital a day later. So yeah, I mean that's
well,
rough.
rest in peace.
In Oklahoma, the U.S. state just north of Texas, over 30,000 acres have burned and at least 13 homes have been destroyed. So never mind that may be crossing over. It apparently already has. So
Well, fire spreads. It's so easy.
glad I made it to the end of the
Oh,
article. That last part there. Yeah, and Oklahoma's not
governments
huge.
everywhere got to start doing better forestry.
You know.
Better like Canada's reduced the forest. Now that yeah, okay, you want to blame climate change, sure, but I'm sure it's
Well,
us
but that
doing.
means we need to come up with
But
an answer,
we
right?
also gotta.
You can't just throw your hands up and say, "Well, it's a change.
Well,
We can't." No, we gotta attack it like humans
we're
do.
paying a carbon tax now. The fire should stop.
Nah, that's a
Climate,
shit ass
climate,
solution.
no,
That's
no, you pay carbon tax, no more climate change. It's just the government gets money and boom, we're all better.
no. See that only works if
I'm
that
being
tax
facetious.
and that money is going towards something that actually is doing something, which is not. So like every time you have a tax like that, it's useless. G says Texas thinks the blue states. Oh, and Texas thinks the blue states are burning. Yeah, they do say that in Texas.
Oh yeah, okay, but yeah,
Democrat cities are on fire.
too soon, Jays. 24-hour ban. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, but yeah, I have nothing else.
But yeah, I mean what I was saying is we shouldn't just say even if it is climate change, we shouldn't just throw our hands up and do nothing.
Yeah, no,
It's never you never do
I was
nothing.
being
Even if you
facetious
don't
there,
think
yeah.
it's climate change, you should still do something to stop these fires that are obviously happening more.
That's just yeah, you gotta.
How many fire stories do we have to do for people to
I,
get that it's something's going on
I
that we
think
need to like
I think
spray
we've
everything with
I think
water?
we've
I
done
don't
more
know.
plane story. I mean, fire stories and plane stories.
Did they have to stop shipping migrants because of the fire?
Oh, well, maybe that's why they did it. Have a
Um,
wall of fire. Can't build a
I
brick
don't know.
wall, build a wall of fire. Again, that's too.
I mean, I'm sure if Greg Abbott was asked a question like that, he'd have a great answer that wasn't evil at all. Wink. Meanwhile, there's a department that needs more firefighters. Wow.
I think. Are we good to move on? Or-
I mean, if you need firefighters, you let a few people in. All right, we're going 3 for 3 with BBC here. Not sure why I should have moved them around because we do have a variety. I think you found this one. Poison
No, yeah.
seller tied to suicide forum tracked down by BBC.
Yeah, so we talked about a Canadian who's actually being charged for only a few murders here in Ontario, not Canada and Ontario. Even though he killed a whole bunch of people in Canada. He's only
This the
being
guy?
charged for the ones in Ontario. He also killed a whole bunch of people in UK. Now this piece is also part of that sending suit. And fuck you. Who are you to do that? Like, I don't know. That's just any government.
So wait, is this the guy that we've done the stories
No,
on
this is a
before?
Ukrainian. This is a completely different guy from Ukraine doing it.
Okay, but is it the same sort of idea where
Yeah,
it's a
same people.
suicide
Yeah, it's a
kit that
suicide
you
kit.
order and he
Yeah.
just sends it to him?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's being confronted by a journalist asking, can I talk about the poison you're selling that's killing people?
But
He's
they're
not really
speaking
responding.
Ukrainian.
Poison is killing people. Что? Taras?
Кажеш, що ви продаєте отруту людям в усьому світі.
Нет. Это вранье.
It's the truth.
Nuh-uh, he
You
says.
know you're selling poison. You are selling poison, we know you are.
Може, ви хотіли б вибачитись перед сім'ями?
Так я ничего не продаю.
I don't sell that thing.
Я не хочу быть таким популярным.
We
Как
know,
вы
we
хотите.
know you're selling
Хорошо?
poison too. You
Всё.
sell that chemical. We know you do. You're lying to us. Just stop lying and tell us the truth.
All right, I think that's the video version of no comment.
Yeah. I again, I'm not. Is but he looks guilty to me.
Why can't
Yeah.
Leonid Zakutinku?
Oh,
I can't say who he is either. I tried to say who he is.
Okay, so
A
yeah.
Ukrainian man selling a poison thought to be linked to at least 130 UK deaths has been identified by the BBC.
By the beef.
All right.
Benito Zentuko advertised
Yep,
his service
that's
on
it.
a website promoting the side, and he told an undercover reporter he sent 5 parcels. So he admitted it to him.
So yeah, it says he's
Now,
supplying
I
the same
think- I
substance
think
as
we
the
should be
Canadian
careful.
Kenneth Law.
Dustin,
This was
can
the
you
guy
stop
we
for a
talked
second?
about.
Just be careful. We gotta make sure not to use that aspirin much. Say enough on the
Right.
show, but YouTube likes to flag stuff. I just
Yeah.
yeah. So Kenneth Law, yeah, he was a guy in Canada who got charged. Right?
Yeah, and this guy, it says, was supplying the same substance as Kenneth Law. Who, yeah, we've covered that, and he's getting 14 murder charges because those are the ones that occurred in Canada, which makes me ask the same question with this
in
guy. It says
Ontario.
100,
In Ontario,
or
not
in
even
Ontario,
Canada.
yeah. So with this guy, it says 130 in UK, but like, was this guy operating in multiple
He's selling
places as
some
well?
in Canada. Was he selling some?
You know, I can't see why he wouldn't. So it says he was tracked down in his home in Kiev, and of course denied that he sold the deadly chemical, which the BBC is choosing not to name. So I guess
Yeah, because it's probably a
When-
good idea. I
yeah,
agree.
it's probably
I
good,
agree with
yeah.
that, so you don't really want to know. It's like, oh,
no.
but yeah. So
So it says the chemical can legally be sold in the UK, but only to companies using it for a legitimate purpose. So it's not for individual sale.
that could be many things, right? If it can be fatal in just even small doses. Yeah, he's probably sending 50 shot and boom. And
Yeah.
who knows? Does it make you suffer? Is that the or a lot of shit? Anyway. But yeah, I can't like I is it being charged or is it just
Hopefully. I mean,
will Ukraine give him up? Ukraine will be like give us more money for war. Then, that's
This is
2009.
just going through. They did and they did all the blood and samples. Came back pathologists.
Yeah.
71% of them showed the chemical. They were testing at least 187 of them, but yeah. So
Yeah.
murder charges. There we go. Here we go. So it's come back to
Yeah,
Kenneth
that's good.
Law. Now he has 14 counts. Let's see. Of course, he's thought to have sold 1,200 times. That's crazy. And 40 countries, including the UK. So this guy has been operating since at least November 2020.
Also offers 3 different prescriptions. Prescriptions they use, prescription medicines. Yeah, he gets.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably, when you prescribe them for what they're meant for and do the dosage like you're meant to, they make sense. But obviously, these guides they're talking about guides.
So he
kind
was
of
on the same form as
obviously
Mr. Law.
instruct you to do way more on the
So
dosage side.
this guy must have known Law. On the same.
Yeah, he's used the same forums. Users have passed on his contact details through direct messages. So we've got the guy. Did we give him charges?
Yeah, that's just going over what we saw in the video.
So we challenged him outside his local post office. So that's this video I think we were seeing where he'd been posting more parcels. So he's literally dropping off what could be more. Said what?
I just said that, but yeah, yeah. So it's just he's not gonna get charged. BBC identified him. Nobody else. Get away with it.
It looks like it, unless this article brings it, to.
But he's in Ukraine. Does
authority.
Ukraine have a treaty with UK? Like, I don't know.
Let's see.
Not a treaty, but what is that? I don't know.
Extradition. The United States does not have an extradition treaty with China, Indonesia, Iran, Mongolia, Qatar, Russia. Ukraine is in the list.
But that's what about UK?
For America now.
Probably very similar.
Probably. It's hard to see.
Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say no.
Yeah, I was gonna say because UK is one of our allies, so if we don't have a treaty, likely our allies don't.
So one corner
But
found
this
it.
this would be the challenge: is getting the extradition, or bring it to the attention of authorities, or the world may bring it to Ukrainian authorities' attention, and this guy's probably working in his own country too.
Where he is, that look
Kenneth Law was.
That look Ukrainian.
Right.
I mean,
So
they
he
look like
maybe-
studies came up because they found this kid dead, and the coroner found the poison in him. The coroner brought it up, and then they found a whole bunch of other people.
Apparently, coroners in England have written different government departments recommending action to be taken about this, and the forums, than the ways they're using this.
Yeah, because I guess they look at the computers, and if they all go on, that's super unfortunate. I hope they find the charge him more. Someone shoots and kills Ukraine.
And yeah,
Freaking, let's see if he set one of the hits to Russia. Fucking gives Russia a reason to go over there. Boom. But yeah, I don't think I have too much more on this.
yeah, and they do not have an answer. There are no current charges for this guy. The way he's currently doing it, I'm not sure how it's going to.
Yeah, and again, because he's in that country.
Outside of, like I said, his own country looking into him and,
Yeah.
and prosecuting him. If they don't want to extradite him, they may still want to prosecute him.
That'd be a good sign. But then, like, hey, yeah, that's probably the best thing. Is like, look at, we're good here in Ukraine. We took this guy who's a criminal and we're charging him, right? But that'd be a good thing to show that. Why? Then they could get more.
Maybe.
Like, hey, here you guys
Wouldn't
go.
hurt.
Give us
Wouldn't
another
hurt.
billion or two, and we'll give you the guy. Okay, Yeah, let's see what else we have.
You've got enough. Just chill.
I don't know what this is. Oh, the CB.
CBS.
CBS retailers, including Amazon and Walmart, are selling unsafe knockoff video doorbells.
Oh no.
Now,
Unsafe.
so what I actually gonna think is like, yeah, so when you're buying on Amazon and Walmart, you're not actually always buying right from Amazon. There's third-party sellers on them everywhere, and you don't
Mhm.
really know unless you look, and then you can be buying it, and it could become fake. But yeah,
So, a range of video doorbell brands sold by online retailers, including Amazon, Sears, Shein, Temu, and Walmart, have security vulnerabilities that could expose users to hackers. Investigation by Consumer Reports found. And yeah, I mean they're all going to say they were unaware,
yeah,
obviously, and they're all going to say it was either a vendor or a third party's fault.
the
The
cosmetic
consumer advocacy. Oh, go ahead.
advice. I can't now.
Well, you weren't going to be able to
Yeah.
before. Let's be real.
Uh,
That's why I said go
We've
ahead. I
finished
want to
with
see.
dozens seemingly identical video doorbells sold under brand names including Elcan and Tuck. All are made by the Elcan Group, based in controlled through a mobile app called iWit, whatever. Which Econ, not either, operates. CR said. So yeah, they're just throwing a different logo on it and selling it, which a lot of people do, don't they?
Yeah.
A lot of places do.
Yeah, I think so. Resellers and
Yeah.
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 Eakin and Tuck are not well-known brands in the video doorbell market, yet they are relatively strong sellers online. The doorbells appeared in multiple listings on Amazon, with more than 4,200 sold in January alone. Both brands are often touted as Amazon's choice overall pick.
Yeah. I hate that bullshit. It's Amazon choice. You can pay for that to be said. You can
Yeah.
literally, and they'll put it on there for you. So no, I don't.
I look at the specs and find the thing I want.
Yeah, and then you read the comments. Use not just the first few. Go through a whole bunch of them. Fake.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
So I guess they have a list here.
so it looks like they gave the exposure of the user's home IP address, Wi-Fi networks, with so they can get everything pretty much. Get right into your Wi-Fi. What else? Remote access, so they can actually see through your. But I've seen that with big brands too. People don't ever change their default password, right? So
Well, I mean, they should, but
they
yeah,
should.
a lot of people
But they're
don't.
like, oh, that whatever the thing is called 1 2 3 4 5. That's a password. And they don't change it. They wonder how someone can break into their camera. That's one thing. Always change.
So yeah, it sounds like they can basically come in and take your footage, take snapshots or whatever, lock you out of using it, get your IP address, Wi-Fi, all that, and apparently also you have to have a registration code visible under the Federal Communications Commission regulations. I mean, that's just
You have
you
to have a
got
what?
to put
Sorry.
that on a registration code. I know about that. I guess.
Yeah. Oh, so they can't sell the same. Maybe because it's got a number, right? It's got a tracker to it, like number. Like this is the serial number, and that's to that product. So in order to make sure you're using the right one, it's usually station code. Not
Yeah, that
sure.
way you know you've got a unique
Yeah, you're not
thing or
just
whatever,
exactly.
and people aren't going to access your stuff. Well, I mean, but it sounds like they're going to anyways, because well,
Yeah, but
good luck to you.
if you all put them out the same way, yeah, people are not gonna. So
So yeah,
yeah,
they're saying new rules are needed to stop this, or at least make online retailers accountable for vetting sellers.
well for sure, because sometimes when you like Amazon return on
'Cause
most
like
of the
you said,
product.
anybody who wants to can
Yeah,
go on there.
it says
What's wrong with them?
Amazon says easy return policy. Yeah, if it's bought through Amazon, but if it's bought through a third party, you're screwed. They just say no and you're
Mhm.
done. Amazon's like, well, yeah, it's a third party. We have nothing to do with it. Amazon sides with them. That's not. So be careful. These companies aren't there to. They don't give a shit. They don't actually care about you.
No.
That if there's, they just want your. And they're making bank on this product.
That being said, there have been some doing things. Temu said that prioritizes consumer safety and privacy and has suspended sales of the identified doorbell cameras, Tuck and Eakin. Which, by the way, Eakin did not immediately respond for a request
What?
comment. Of course, big shock.
Um,
Oh no.
Temu, okay, you can buy shirts off there. You can buy like
Yeah.
I bought a few shirts. I bought a remote control car. I bought a little telescope as a gift for somebody. Stuff like that. I'm not buying an iPhone. I'm not
No,
buying a
I'm not
freaking.
either.
I'm not buying any electronics off there at all. Like maybe a flashlight, which some of the stuff. Okay, cool. You get good pricing.
Unless
But
it's super cheap and you don't care if it works or not.
yeah, and that's sometimes it's cool. I'll do a $30 order and have 10 things come because sweet. I'll play with 10 items. It lasts me a
Yeah.
day. I'm happy. But don't buy freaking stuff you want for security. Spend the money on security. Don't cheap out.
Walmart also says they are removing items cited by CR, so they would be removing all these same things too. Anyone else? Amazon and Shein did not immediately respond for requests for comment. They don't care.
Yeah.
They all don't care, but like you can like say,
Pretend,
hey,
yeah.
Amazon cares less.
Yeah, because at least. Yeah, we gotta take it off. Again, they don't
Yeah.
care, but they're taking. They'll probably just rename it and put it back on the shelf. But
Well, exactly.
alrighty, well. It's
Oh, apparently this is the second wave of it. There's CR also brought to life recently this other one. Thousands of Wise camera customers having images of their homes made visible to folks they didn't know due to a security event. So this is already not even the first one.
so that
And they'll just list the next one without vetting it, and they'll list the next one without vetting
Yeah.
it. That's the problem. Is Walmart put Wise on there, and it took it down, and then they put Eakin on there,
Yeah,
and they took it down,
exactly.
and they put the next one, on, and then they take it out. Like, why do you keep putting them on there?
I've actually seen
is the
stuff
question.
before where you can actually sometimes they won't even remove the old label. So if you go and you peel it, the old label will be underneath the machine. No, not I mean underneath the new label because they're that lazy. Trying to think
And of course, Amazon has its own Amazon Ring here, and apparently they paid $5.8 million to settle allegations that Ring surveillance workers access your videos.
I heard that's
Now,
a thing. Yeah.
the settlement doesn't mean they're saying we do or don't, and it doesn't say we're going to stop or start. Like, they
Now-
just say 5.8 million to stop charging us.
Yeah. Question for you. I have a
So,
question.
are they doing this? I think
Maybe.
so,
I have
and
a
they just
question
paid
for
the
you.
FTC to keep doing
I
it.
heard this a while ago, but what some advocates want to do is like all these big doorbell cameras and all that stuff in local, like residential areas. They want it so if someone dials 911 within a certain area, all that footage, all those cameras start automatically recording outside to see what the crime is. I don't know how they do that, but they were trying to say they should be able to do that so all the cameras can actually film a crime if it's happening with someone. Do you agree?
Yeah, I would be absolutely opposed to
Yeah,
that.
okay. I didn't think you would be. But
That is an absolute violation of people's rights. Forcing everyone to be a snitch?
yeah.
No.
But yeah, it's not everyone. Like that camera, yeah, I guess, yeah.
No, that's forcing everyone to be a snitch. You know it is. That's what they're going to use it for. Is
Yeah.
when you wouldn't have said I saw this, the camera will have said that I saw this.
Yeah. I didn't think you were
They
gonna
don't want to give you any choice in the matter.
I didn't think you were gonna be for it anyway.
It's like a literal surveillance state.
Yeah. They should start, they
I
want to do
mean-
that. They have so much money they should put a camera up on every corner street.
Well, and that's the other thing. Like,
Like,
there's
that's
people that wouldn't be
China's.
able to afford these systems. So,
Yeah.
like, are they going to mandate you get them, or are they going to hand them out? And then, of course, it's government issued. I'm not putting a government issued one pointed anywhere. I'm
Yeah.
putting it at the ground, saying, "Whoopsie, huh,
It happened.
my bad, squirrels."
saw
You
that
know?
one.
Oh, whoop. Are you going to take the squirrels to jail, government? Looks like
Um,
the squirrels are flipping you off. What? How
But does
could
this
you?
have much more or no?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
Cybersecurity experts recommend not putting it in your bathroom or bedroom.
Yeah. I've seen videos of like people talking to a kid through the kid's camera. The camera the kids
As well.
It's
yeah.
like, first of all,
Why
why
is
do
it
you
there?
because you like to watch your kids? Like clearly other people are watching your kids too. No, like
And they like to watch your kids. Does that
like,
sound
there's
normal?
this one guy, he was just trying to get the girl to break some stuff, but it's kind of creepy still. But then
Yeah,
actually,
no.
I saw this other video. It was actually a Canadian, a white coat hacker, or is that a white hat hacker? I don't know what they call them.
I think white hat.
White
yeah.
hat
I don't know.
hacker.
White coat. I don't know what white coat's even saying.
But
It's
anyway,
like
he's a good hacker,
no
right?
white hat. Yeah, ethical security
Anyway,
hacker.
so he calls the guy. He's like, "Hey, don't freak out." And the guy starts freaking out. Of course, he's like, "Yeah, I'm from Canada, and I'm just scrolling through this website, and your camera's unlocked." He's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, so you should probably change your password." And the guy just starts, "Thank you." Like, who are you? But thank you. But yeah,
That's kind of weird. But yeah, I make sure to put my cam at a wall. There's nothing to see. If you want to hack it, go for it. You're going to see footage of the banter, which you can go to youtube.com/borderline banter if you'd like to see more of this content. It's all available. You don't have to hack me. You like that show? All right, next up we have Kotaku. Final Fantasy game broken due to leap day.
what?
February 29th is causing some problems in multiple games and computer programs. It's the end of the world.
We're gonna talk about February 29th.
It's the millennium.
Happened. What?
So what is this? This is The Simpsons. Are these the two games here? Theatrhythm. Oh, that really is that word. That's what I was trying to figure out if that's even a word. So yeah, folks trying to play Theatrhythm Final Bar Line, a Final Fantasy themed rhythm game, were unable to due to a bug preventing the game from connecting to servers on February 29th,
Okay. Oh,
aka a leap day.
so it's a new game. It's not an old game. Huh.
Apparently,
That must have pissed a whole bunch of people off. I haven't even heard about anyone playing Final Fantasy ever.
well, I mean, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth just came out.
Did it? Oh,
Yeah, all the streamers are playing it right now. Yeah, it's part 2 of the Final Fantasy VII remake. And from what I understand, they're about done with disc 1. They might be close to the end of disc 1 at the end of part
wow.
2. So by my thoughts, I think some people were saying they're doing 3 parts. I think they're doing 7. I think they're gonna make 7 games, and I'm not
Why
gonna buy a
not milk
single
it?
one of them.
Yeah, why milk? Why not milk it? People are gonna keep buying it.
Yeah, and I looked at the gameplay. I played the demo of the first one and didn't want it.
I was never a big.
And then I
Final
looked at the
Fantasy.
second one, and it's the same.
I didn't like it. My brother
Yeah.
liked it, but I did not
Yeah.
like.
But the thing is, you're talking about the Final Fantasy I actually liked, not this new Final Fantasy, which is so
Yeah, I'm talking about the
different.
one from 2000, 1999,
Yeah.
2000, right?
I liked those. Those were good. This one, best way I can explain it is every fight, every enemy, you don't get to just go up and hit them for damage. You hit with a wet noodle. And different enemies have different ways you have to hit them with your wet noodle in order for your wet noodle to become an actual sword and you could do real damage finally. And a lot of those noodle parts of it are like 5 minutes of noodling to get 30 minutes of doing damage. Repeat, repeat, repeat. That's the game. I can't do it.
Yeah,
I want to hit the damage my guy's supposed to hit. What is this noodles? I can't.
yeah, I don't.
Take me back to 1999, pre-noodle. It was a good idea when they did it in Final Fantasy 13-1. Every other use of the stagger system is junk.
Yeah, at least no.
Similar
No,
bug
yeah,
happened in EA racing game. Yeah. What was it up here? What? W2C, is that what it's called?
W. But yeah, that's kind of funny.
Which forced players to change the date on their consoles to play. So there was a workaround.
Yeah, well, you can do that.
But-
you can do that on your phone too if you're playing a game and one of those games you will have to wait. Is like, oh, wait 10 hours. You can actually just change the time on your phone 10 hours ahead. That will automatically fine. Well, it'll think that you were 10 hours. Give you all.
Yeah.
Not that I.
Look, this right here, this solution they have is literally how you do cheating in Animal Crossing. You go in there and change the date on your console
Yeah.
to like go to like holiday events or pastime in your little world. So all these people cheated.
Yeah.
Just so they know.
That's what I just.
You're
said.
all now officially cheaters.
But yeah, I'm ready. Move on from this one if you are.
Yeah, do they have any other games or is it just those two?
WRC.
Oh, WRC. That still doesn't help. What does that
Rally.
stand for?
Rally.
World Racing Championship. Hmm. How do you fail at coding to handle
Because it's
29?
one every 4 years and people don't think about it.
I mean, I'm professionally a coder, so I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, if this happens to you, here's what you can do. We got a whole list here.
Just know to change it back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's
well,
kind of funny. They make the title vague here, Final Fantasy game. This is like you were unaware of the rebirth thing I was talking about, but most people would read this and think, "What? The new Final Fantasy 7 didn't work? I need to click this." But then you get in there and it's Final Fantasy Theatrhythm. Some weird ass Switch game that I'm a Switch person and a Final Fantasy fan, and I even like rhythm games. So I'm like threefold potential for this. No interest.
You're getting old, man.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I don't know the target audience, but it missed. You missed me. The rhythm game for Zelda was cool. All right. We're kind of on this security
Yeah, I guess.
kink tonight, right?
From
I guess we'll
Gizmodo.
keep going.
The FBI is using push notifications to catch sexual predators. The data in push notifications can help law enforcement officially identify and track a criminal suspect. Huh? What?
So they can use your push notifications to identify and track you.
Um,
Like,
best way to
you
describe
know,
it.
like when it says borderline banter is going live,
Oh yeah, that's
and you look in and the app that did that push notification was Kick,
okay.
right?
All right, okay.
So that would be an example.
Yeah, I want to make sure. Okay, cool. Awesome.
That's a pretty good example, right?
Yeah.
Now this says to identify and track a criminal suspect. So they don't know if this person's in a crime. This could be you or me.
Yeah.
This is to track people. I don't know why they say criminal suspect. Track people. To identify and track people. Use honest language, all right? Because this is the same question as what the other one we were talking about was, is should they be able to do this, with or without judicial oversight? Of course, this is the FBI, so probably they could just do whatever they want.
Most people turn on mobile push notifications and forget about. However, it turns out that if you are not good, up to no
If
good,
you're up to no good.
the notifications could get you thrown in. Okay, the Washington Post reports that the FBI has been mobile push notifications data to unmask people's suspects of serious crime like pedophilia, terrorism, and murder. Well, if you're gonna do that to any crime, those are the crimes to do it to, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, those are definitely good crimes to get people for, but how are they getting that from a borderline banter is going live
well,
notification? So I think we need to connect some dots here, right? I don't understand the dots. We lost Mike. All right, so the Post did a little digging into court records and found evidence of at least 130 search warrants filed by the feds. Oh, okay, so they are doing worse. They're doing judicial oversight right here for push notification data in cases spanning 14 states. Unlike Canada, who's considering not doing that, 4 judges. What the hell? In those cases, FBI officials asked tech companies like Google, Apple, and Facebook to fork over data related to the suspect's mobile notifications, then used the data to implicate the suspect in criminal behavior linked to a particular app, even though many of those apps were supposedly anonymous communication platforms like Wicker.
none of them are anonymous.
You
None
ever
of
heard of
those are.
Wicker?
I've never heard of it. You?
Neither. But I haven't. But do you consider any of what you're doing online really anonymous?
No, never. Like my work, they wanted us. They sent out a survey. They're like, we won't know who it is. Just fill out this survey and send it back, please. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it. They're like, well, we won't know. I'm like, but some. And they're just like questions like, I think there were bad questions like, do you work here? Do you this? Like, blah blah. I was like, well, yeah, I don't want to. Like, I answer them as so there's no weird. But when they asked for questions, I was like, nope, I'm not putting it in there because I told them I was like, I don't believe it's can't see me. Pretty sure you can, but yeah, communications with the end-to-end encryption is what the app said. So it's saying that end-to-end encryption.
I mean,
But clearly-
maybe your actual message history would be secure then. So this article fortunately helps because I was going to Google this since we don't really have a good idea of push notifications. Push notifications, which are provided by a mobile operating system provider, include embedded metadata that can be examined to understand the use of the mobile apps on a particular phone. Apps come laced with a quiet identifier, a push token, which is stored in the corporate servers of a company like Apple or another phone manufacturer after a user signs up and to use a particular app. Those tokens can later be used to identify the person using the app based on the information associated with the device on which the app was downloaded. Even turning off push notifications on your device doesn't necessarily disable this feature, according to experts. So they know you're using an app. How do they connect that to you did a murder? Right? That's the dots I'm still looking for. Like, okay, you know that I'm on Kick, the app, which has recently updated. Couldn't tell you what's updated about it. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. They need to stop pushing updates when there's nothing different.
Yeah.
Please, and we're on your platform. Please help. Just saying.
I don't use.
I use it because I'm foremost a viewer. Not, I mean, you're the one doing the streaming right now. I'm foremost a viewer of the platform, so this is user feedback. If that means anything.
Yeah.
If the Kick mods are watching me.
Okay.
So gotta have something here. I don't care what Ron Wyden has to say. Cops have been using this kind of data in court cases for years. The first recorded case that the Post discovered was half a decade ago, way back in 2019.
Why does that have to say it like that?
Yeah, and also we're barely into 2024. Like,
I just hate how they say half.
This
a
is
decade.
4.5 years.
Yeah,
like
I just
half
hate
a
how
decade.
they say that half a decade. It's like, why do I have to say
Yeah,
that?
they definitely try to push that.
Okay, so
Yeah, so they're not going to go into any more detail about how.
wait, it says right there too. Finally, we always catch pedophilias and terrorists. It seemed like the worst thing. But yeah, then
Right, but tell me how you're doing it, because I don't get it. Like,
well, yeah, if they can start watching,
I don't
apps,
got you.
A lot of apps like that. I'm sure there's some apps out there that
Does it include location data?
maybe.
If it does, that's enough for me. I can see how you could use it now. If push notifications include your location when the push was received, right? Then all those stupid your phone beeping is like, that's self-reporting you every second, basically. Leave that shit at home, criminals.
Alrighty,
We here at the Banter don't condone crime. We hate crime. Whoa, wait, no, I mean, you know what I meant, right? We don't do hate crimes. We hate crime. Right. All right, next up.
From AP News, why Missouri currently doesn't allow pregnant women to be legally divorced. What?
Did you know this?
I did not know that.
Is Canada like this?
I don't know. What?
Well, I mean, why assume Missouri? It's what, you don't think Missouri's a standard for the world?
Not.
What are you trying to say about Missouri? My
Are you
mom's from Missouri.
You-
My mom's from. I lived there for a little bit. I was born in Iowa, but thank you. No one says sorry for that often enough. Here is the Missouri state capitol. Yeah. So, Missouri lawmakers introduced legislation to clarify that the state's judges can grant divorces even when one spouse is pregnant. The fact that you have to put in legislation to clarify this is fucked up. I was trying to think of how to word that. Fucked up is what it came up. The notion that they can't already has sparked anger from people who see it as an antiquated policy that controls women unfairly, possibly trapping them in an abusive marriage. But divorce lawyers say the practice, which goes beyond Missouri, is not meant to be punitive for pregnant women and has some important practical benefits. So let's take a look at the pros and cons of forcing you to stay married because you're pregnant.
Well,
what?
Because
are we really about to do the pros and cons of this?
Hormones, like pregnant women are kind of sometimes like hormonal, like
so
rash decisions. Like I want to break up with you forever. It's like, babe,
so
I forgot to buy ketchup.
We're divorced.
Yeah. Sorry, kitty.
And then he goes, "Well, no, sweetie. Technically, look at this.
Yeah.
I have you peppermint right now, so I can say anything I want about ketchup.
Yeah.
Get fucked."
Okay, let's see what they say. Can pregnant woman get divorced?
Okay, so the Missouri law on divorce does not specifically bar finalizing divorces for pregnant women, but whether the wife is pregnant is one of the 8 pieces of information, along with things like where the parties live and when they separated, that's required when someone files for divorce. Oh, that's one of the other things. Missouri is one of those fun states that if you want to be divorced, you can't live together.
Yeah.
You can't get divorced while living together, basically. It's bullshit.
That seems like I think that's most places.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like that should be a requirement in any way. Like,
Yeah.
why? What are you doing? Lawyers and advocates say judges in Missouri and some other states do not finalize divorces when a woman in the couple is pregnant, but that doesn't prevent someone from starting the process during a pregnancy.
When the woman
Wha-
the woman in the couple is pregnant.
When a woman in the couple is pregnant. Yeah. I mean, so wait, in one paragraph they're saying I don't know. Basically they're saying, yeah, you can't. You can start the process, but no judge is gonna actually let it get signed, apparently. Judges in Missouri
After the
they're not
baby's
gonna
yeah.
finalize it.
After the baby's born,
They-
day 1, go get divorced. Boom.
Maybe. Unless the law says you have to wait till day 30.
But okay,
Well, then maybe day 60. What if your hormones are still going, you know? You need 60
Said
days.
it makes more sense that judges will not finalize divorce during pregnancy because a child would impact the custody and child. That actually does make sense. Custody and child support terms of a divorce. So if she divorced him, does he owe? I don't know. Actually, maybe that the guy's already. Who's the parents in?
Did you almost just say who owns?
I did.
That you didn't stop it in
yeah, I
time.
did.
You didn't stop
I
it in
did,
time.
yeah.
Everyone just heard you think babies are
owns the
owned by their
rights?
parents.
Who owns the rights of the child? So
You mean who's the primary guardian?
yes. So
That's the way we talk
Okay,
about ownership nicely.
okay.
Because
So
it's kind of it means the
it
same.
is okay, but yeah, that I could see where that is. I can actually honestly.
Uh,
Now, not like does she is forced to live with the guy? No, she can leave him, but she just can't sign that paper until the birth certificate's born, or the birth certificate is signed. Okay? But again, let's see what else.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. This for me, this isn't enough reason to deny somebody a divorce. I mean, your negotiations of all that, the child support and all that, is still gonna be figured out for that third child, or that child that's not born yet, or whatever. You know, you still figure it out the same way as if you weren't married. You know, being married or not married isn't affecting the child support decision in my mind.
But yeah, maybe, but we never children with in custody battles.
It may impact the custody somewhat,
No,
but again,
because-
I don't really think so. You're still gonna be a divorced couple, so
yes, but you're not.
better to have more information on the table when you have that discussion about custody. So being divorced while pregnant, better. Then you're having that
yeah.
custody discussion as equal separate parties who aren't tied by the law when you don't want to be, which would, affect your ability to make a decision. Yeah, I'm on the side of that.
But this can literally take the father's rights away 100% though. The father could get divorced and disappear and never.
No one has a right for somebody to stay married to them.
No. Okay,
You don't have the right for somebody to have to stay married to you, I don't think.
Okay, but
that's what that equates to.
You can start the problem. Getting divorced doesn't happen overnight anyway.
You can still try for custody
No.
of your child. You're not saying, no one's saying you will never get custody. You can still go to your custody and try to get it. Now, of course, America. You can look at statistics as well as I can. The odds of the guy getting custody is low.
Yes, and sometimes that's 100% wrong because a lot of shitty mothers out there and great fathers, and a lot of shitty fathers and great mothers. It goes both ways.
But that decision's going to happen either way.
So,
Like, if she has the kid and then they get divorced, you still have the custody discussion.
well, then
Like, so why are we making you stay married? There's no viable reason to make you stay married during this time. I don't see. Other than like you were trying to say, like people making a rash decision, which I don't want a law to protect me from rash decisions. That's dumb. We're America. We're about freedom. we don't want protection from rash decisions. That'd be like saying I can't buy a jet ski. Well, you are you saying I can't buy a jet ski?
Well, I
You're
guess,
basically saying I can't buy a jet ski if
yeah,
you're saying women can't get divorced.
yeah, no, yeah.
It is the exact same. And in any chatter, I challenge you to show me the difference between a jet ski and a marriage.
So now like what happens if the woman doesn't want to get divorced? Can the bill allow, like male does? It can go that way too. You know?
Look, I'm not a divorce attorney. I don't know how divorces work when one party doesn't want to do it. But I'm pretty sure it's not that it just can't happen. Because,
But
like I said, I don't think you can ever compel somebody else to stay married to you. And if there's laws like in Missouri has that enable that, I'm against said laws. And if anybody wants to push for new laws that would enable that, I'm against those too. This is the shitty thing in America where these things exist in one state, don't exist in another, so people can live without even knowing about this shit. But that's my take on it. I mean, I haven't seen a good reason to make you stay married. It's a legal agreement that affects like money stuff. That's it. That can be terminated at any point, like any contract. It's a contract. It'd be like saying
Yeah,
I
it's a
can't
contract.
like close down my business because I'm pregnant. And I might change my mind about closing down my business if I give birth to the kid first. I might be willing to work. I just need to get that kid out thing. No, let me shut my business down. I don't want to do a business right now. It's America. I think it comes down to freedom. You can't tell
But
an
yeah,
American what to do.
I'd have to see. I'd have to see more about the custody battle, especially in that state with divorced parents or like are like separated parent. Like when the parents aren't married, does a father have just as much rights? Should. So maybe not. Maybe if they're not married, the mother has 100% rights of that child. I was like, well, that's not fair. So
Well, that's determined by the courts.
yes, but maybe in that state, they're like, oh, they weren't married. The woman is in charge. Woman has 100%, no matter what. The father won't.
If they're married, they're both the
Yes,
guardian.
that's what I'm saying.
There's no
Married.
determination of
But
guardianship if they're both. And then they get divorced after the birth,
yes.
and it's the same determination.
But so
You
if they
still
get
go through the
divorced
same
after the
custody
birth,
hearings.
they get divorced after the birth. That baby is now considered a bastard, right? Because you have the parents aren't married, and that's a proper term for the record.
I don't think that the courts are going to take marital status into consideration that highly when determining custody.
They don't let you get married when you're divorced. Like they take a lot of weird things in consideration.
Like, why would the judge be like, at the time this baby was born, were you married?
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I give it to the man.
Well,
wait, no, what? How did that doesn't? There's no connection there. That makes no sense to use.
You know that though. Like Missouri, does a unmarried father have the right of their child? That's what. Just as much.
Yes.
Just as much as, but you know that.
All I need is one case of one unmarried guy getting custody.
No.
That's it. I need one case of one guy getting custody. That's all I need to prove. That's easy. Yes.
You don't need more. You need more than one. That's it. Okay, one thing.
You just ask, can guys get custody?
And yes, okay.
Yes.
You're one guy. Okay. Well.
They can.
But yeah,
you know what they don't do though? The vast majority of guys don't try to. Yeah. They don't want custody. So when you look at those statistics. You look at the statistics, and a big part of them, a big part of the statistical difference between who gets custody and who doesn't is who fights for it. The one who fights for it is statistically more likely to get it. It's not my fault that men don't fight for it, but if they did, they would fall into that statistic, which is more likely to get it. You got to fight for it if you want it, is basically the way it plays out. There is definitely some bias, but there's also the you have to fight for it part. And most guys don't. That's shown in the stats. So
I don't know.
Yes, there are definitely some guys who don't get custody who want custody.
Again, maybe that's different here because the woman wins lots here most of the time. A lot of fathers fight hard.
How many of the fathers fight?
Like
statistically, not just this guy fought. Statistically, if we're going to talk about the numbers.
Yeah, but you're saying you don't have the numbers. Where's both the numbers?
I mean, I would have to pull up some resources I actually trust, so I wouldn't do that live.
Yeah,
I don't do that in debates. I don't say, hey, pull it up right now or it's not true. No. We can talk about it later.
You asked me for the numbers. I don't have the numbers, so I asked you for the numbers. It's
right. Yeah. So and you haven't looked into that at all, so you don't know, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we
both can say that.
I didn't ask you to go get the numbers. I asked the question, how many guys are fighting for it. Because in America, and in what I've found, that's a big part of what skews it.
I just know a lot of my friends. I had friends back in the day who had children with a girlfriend, an ex-girlfriend, whatever. They fight, but the woman always gets away. I know a guy right now fighting for 3 of his kids, and he's got a house, he's got a job, he's got all that. But okay, well, you're right. Let's not look online for that because
Yeah, I'm not
it's gonna
saying
be
it's
pretty
the
hard.
only
it's
thing.
gonna be pretty
And
hard.
the
to
other
find
thing
out.
to consider is that at the end of the day, a judge is a person who was appointed by somebody who was elected. They're just an appointed person who we've decided has authority. And judges are allowed to just decide anything,
Yeah,
really.
and they can be very.
If you
biased as
had
well,
one
so-
judge, he could just say 100% of the time, give it to the guy. Would that make it right?
No.
No. But would it make it illegal? No. That's the fucking retarded part here. Judges can just do whatever they want. It doesn't actually matter what the law says. They can just rule. That's the position
Yeah.
we've given them. So,
Just like
you know,
Joe
at the end of the
Biden's-
day, if you have a problem with, you know, custody, maybe that particular judge is who you have a problem with. Maybe you should do what most lawyers do and try to get a particular judge who's more likely to rule in favor of the father for custody. You know, rich people would probably take that maneuver. You know, get the judge who's actually going to rule more likely in your favor.
Okay. Well, I think
But
we have one more story.
I don't have the money to do that.
I think we have one more story here, and it's a little bit of a sad one.
We
Um,
do. It is a sad one. And it hits a little close to home.
That-
Well, I mean, we've both had losses of animals
so
very
CNN,
recently.
guys, it's okay to cry. John Stewart's tearful tribute dog offered a real moment. Yeah, hi, this is Pie right here. Actually, I get it. I lost in May. It was one of the last May, and I was broken, messed up. And yeah, it was one of the worst things ever. I lost grandparents.
Now
and don't
imagine
get me wrong, it's
going
so
through
sad.
that with a imagine going through that with a camera in front of you.
Yeah, I've lost grandparents, and I feel bad
Right.
because I wasn't as sad as I was when I lost my cat. But your cat and your dog or something happened with you. But yeah, is there actually a video so we can watch, or go back up here?
There's a picture.
Maybe a video somewhere you think
Well,
Oh.
I mean that's
I was gonna do.
you know that
I guess they
that's
don't.
on yeah, Comedy Central /YouTube. I
Yeah.
guess you can go find the video.
But yeah, he had a tear
That's
from it. Jon
Instagram.
Stewart knew he was probably going to cry when he took a moment on the Daily Show this week to share that his beloved dog Dipper has died. I would break down too. Yeah, Stewart choked up talking how much he family loved the 3-legged pit bull, tearfully saying he was ready. He was tired, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
part of having it. Best part, because you were there their whole life, you know. Look at it. I'm almost
Yeah, I mean,
talking about it, but yeah, it's like not even my
In
dog.
many ways, they become like a child to people.
No, no, it's like when I you knew me when I lost.
Oh yeah, sure.
I was screwed. Like I almost lost my job and everything. I couldn't even because that was my best.
Yeah,
So yeah,
like a
and
child, a best
cats
friend
and
all at
dogs are the
once.
same to me. Like cats and dogs are the same.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a
That's-
dog
like, hey,
person, but I can relate to what
I had a
John's
friend.
doing here.
I had a friend that lost her guinea pig. She was broken, and I understand because that was her pet. You
Yeah.
know?
We called him Dipper, and in the world of good boys, he was the best. Stewart told his audience. Closed the show with his moment of zen, a sweet video of Dipper joyously playing in the snow.
So yeah, I'm good. I'm not a big fan of Jon Stewart. Yeah, but we're all human. It is okay.
Yeah, and like the guy or hate the guy doesn't matter. I mean, the thing we're
No.
talking about is the tribute, and
Yeah. And,
you know, if you hate the idea of this tribute, well, I think less of you.
yeah, no, exactly. That is pretty.
if you hate Jon Stewart, I also think less of you.
Well,
But
Why? You're allowed to hate people.
and I'm allowed to think less and more of people based on their preferences, right?
but-
I'm allowed to do a mental calculus
Yeah.
on how much I do or don't like somebody based on what they do or don't like.
Yeah, well, that's kind of it's just because
People like to make it seem like you're not allowed to do that. They're like, oh, you're canceling. No, it's having an opinion, which is allowed here. We have a disclaimer about that.
But no, like every time I say I hate Taylor Swift, everyone freaks out at me.
Whoa,
You know, I
whoa!
was like, I hate Taylor Swift. I was like, that's yeah.
I think less of.
Yeah, good.
No,
I
I
didn't
think
think
more
much
of
of
you
me
now.
anyway.
I think more of you.
So-
I gave you a plus dude. I gave you an up dude for that one. You're like, oh, you hate Taylor, but do you like her music?
No,
Have you listened?
there is
to
an
any-
opening for the Borderline Bat. No.
Have you listened to
No,
any of it?
I have one of what maybe
So
one.
now I think less of you because you said you hate something without having tried it. So now you have a minus dude.
Yeah, well, you listen.
You
to
could have
music?
salvaged them.
You rock
I
out
have
to her
listened to her
music?
music. Some of it slaps, and I have rocked out to it. Yes,
don't
I have
like-
tried a lot of her music. A lot of it doesn't work for me, but I can name at least 3 of them that do.
Good name. Hey, it's me.
But no,
Something,
I'm just criticizing that you hate without having tried it.
But yeah, so
You know, you should try it before you hate it.
I I would hate to hold a tarantula. Try it. So
Wow, have you ever held a tarantula?
No,
They might
I
feel
don't-
like a little kitten,
I
like
feel
walking
like
across
I'm
your
gonna hate
hand.
it no matter what. So
What if it
no.
was like a really small
know,
kitten? It's basically a really
but-
small kitten walking on your hand.
And what happens if
They
John
have-
Stewart?
they're
And what happens
fuzzy.
if John Stewart has made offensive jokes to somebody that really offended them? And that's why they don't like him. You
Well,
hate the
then I
guy.
don't care. I
you
don't
hate
care
the
your
guy for having
reasoning.
feelings for like. God made John Stewart made fun of the. I actually. Okay. Anyway, good on John Stewart. Appreciate it. Like I do. That does show.
I don't put that much thought into the calculus on John Stewart. If you don't like him, I think less of you. Pretty much that. I don't go beyond
I
that.
guess you think less of me then. But that's. But yeah, good on him. Like it's good to do that. He could have not said anything. Heartless neighbor found his dead cat in the road. I was out there confident. I picked it up and walked away with it and put it in a plastic bag.
Completely
much.
unaffected by it.
Yeah, he was more mad than anything.
See, and
I was
different people have different reactions. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, that's weird to me, but
he was a piece of shit neighbor too, and like yeah, it is like
humans are a full spectrum of reaction and emotion. So,
But yeah, no, he was.
but
But for the record, this guy got mad at me because a drunk driver crashed into his car, and I called the cops. He was like, "You got my car towed because it wasn't insured because he didn't have registration insurance." He was like, "You should have just
that's
let
not
him,
your fault.
you should have just let him drive away." It's like, no, he's drunk.
No.
I'm not gonna let the guy fucking drive away. And call me a rat, call me a snitch. He was drunk and he crashed. I called the cops and I detained him till the cops showed up. So I didn't physically.
Yeah, no.
I just told him he ain't leaving, and he listened. He was like, "Yep, I'm not going anywhere." So, but
Yeah, I think snitching on drunk drivers is totally fine. You know, usually you look at snitching as
Yeah.
like a negative, but like when it's applied to drunk drivers, I think the vast majority of people, it's kind of like snitching on a pedophile. Like,
yeah,
I don't even snitching doesn't even sound like the right word there. Alerting authorities to a pedophile
Yeah.
is what you do, and everybody agrees. That's like a 100% agreement, right? But
alrighty.
I'm not sure how we got onto that from here, but it's not just Jon Stewart. Apparently, Howard Stern praised Jon Stewart's show of emotion on his Sirius XM show, saying he was proud of him for being real. It's a fabulous television moment because people are so fake; they're never real on TV. He did a tribute to his dog, and it was so emotional he could barely get through it. And I thought it was beautiful, and I want to say it in a serious way because men to this day, 2024, still have so much trouble showing emotion. I know I do. And that's Howard Stern.
It's hard to have. Yeah, he's pretty.
You know, dick and fart and boob joke guy, Howard Stern. You know.
Yeah. It is true. Emotion is good. You don't be too emotional. Some emotion is emotion. Probably not.
Yeah. And Stern says he's jealous. Basically, he wishes he was
Doesn't
geared
mean you
up
have
to build
when
a
I
crowd
say
in his show.
emotion, when I say emotion, that doesn't mean you have to cry and cry.
No, there's
Like,
many emotions.
There's different kind of emotion, but yeah, have something.
Yeah, many ways to display many different emotions. So there's just some emotions that typically men aren't allowed to show, or when they do show them, there's immediately social repercussions that teach you as a man not to do that again, unless you want those repercussions.
When Pi died, I went back to work and I thought I was fine, and I friggin' cried. Everyone at work saw me cry. You know, they all knew my cat died, but they all saw me in my worst state, and I was caring. And not one of them, I don't think they judged me. All of them still, like, not one of them judged me. You know, they all tried to help me out, give me a hug, and yeah.
That sounds like good people you're around. Of course, like then you have that other example of the other person. It's
Yeah.
like, okay,
When he had
you
no
got some good people, and then
Oh,
there's
like,
not.
the guy who ran over like that. The guy who actually ran his cat over stopped, sitting there with us, and yeah, he was in tears. So his name was Scott. Scott was in tears because he ran over this cat. He feels horrible. He's sitting there not knowing what to do, and yeah, and I forget douchebag. He moved, but yeah, he just came out, picked the cat up, and it was pretty much dead at that point. Not it was now, but
Right.
he just tossed it in a bag, and yeah, I should have called the city on him too, because he didn't dispose the body properly. You're supposed to dispose the body properly. You can't just toss those in the landfill.
Yeah, I mean, can't do anything now. But
Yeah, he's gone now. But yeah, think about it. But yeah, yeah.
they list several others here, like Jimmy Kimmel crying at the deaths of Bob Saget and John Ritter,
When,
and during the monologue over the loss of Cecil the Lion. Who the hell is Cecil the Lion?
I don't know. I don't
I
think.
mean, I know John Ritter and Bob Saget,
When
and I understand the connection there, but Jason Kelsey as well as Travis Kelsey. Yeah, we talked about Taylor Swift, so of course we're gonna round the show out and talk about
yeah,
Travis
all goes full
Kelsey.
circle. Yeah.
Steve Harvey grew teary-eyed after a TV street was named after him. Kind of.
Oh, yeah, emotion's good.
So yeah, I think it's a good thing for Stewart to put out into the world because it's one of those examples like that a lot of people are going to see. So it'll
Yeah.
help normalize something that, like I was saying, you get social repercussions, ostracization, and
Yeah, no.
all the fun shit that comes along with it. That really it makes people not want to open up.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm pretty good at talking to people and stuff, and that's another thing. Some of these people don't.
Well, you're not too jaded yet.
Yeah, some of these people don't know that they can do that until they don't realize they have emotion. And I've been there before where I was talking to somebody, but I just get them to start opening up, and they just go full throttle. It was like, whoa, whoa. And you can tell they never did that to anybody before. It's like, well, okay, well, do you feel better? They say, yep. I'm like, well, perfect.
Good. Glad you got that off your chest.
And then I got to go see my therapist. I'm kidding.
So this last part here, the Animal Haven shelter in New York, where Stewart adopted his dog over a decade ago, announced this week that it has received more than $35,000 in donations in Dipper's name. Stewart told his audience of Dipper, "My wish for you is one day you find that one dog that just is the best." Just
And-
replace cat there, and I am on board
And
with that sentence.
this is actually one thing when Pi died. This is how it took me a while, but would I forget about all the good times I had with him to erase how bad I was feeling when he died? Like, would you, the 14, 15 years, I think is, but the 14 years
Yeah, it's okay. No judgment. Birthdays for cats are
the 14 years
somewhat
I was with
hard
him,
to recall.
The 14 years I was with him, I had so many good memories, including many of him biting me, scratching me. But would I change any of that for how I felt when he died? And no, I felt like shit when he died. I wouldn't change it. Yeah, that was the best 14 years ever. And I got Ro now. You saw her earlier.
Mhm.
Hope to get she was adopted. She was 3, but I hope to get as there. And fun fact, just so everybody knows, Pi is a Greek alphabet, and Rho is the letter that comes after Pi. I try to connect them.
Yeah. Fun fact for anyone who stuck it out on this episode. Now you know how Ro got her name. Peanut and Pumpkin, there's not a good story, but you got to wait for a different episode for those.
Yeah. Next time on Borderline Banter.
All right.
But yeah. Thank
I think
you.
we made it to the end.
Thank you everybody for being here. If you haven't already, please hit that follow button. We're still working on our goal to get third. And if you want, you can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and X for one is Twitter. Just go to borderlinebanter.com and it's all there. Also, we like to have guests and views on the show. Gus and I have many different views and opinions, but we like someone with maybe a third point of view. So drop us a line, shoot us a message. We'll get back to you. We'll get you on the show. Questions there. But yeah, we love to hear. And again, this is another episode where we've talked about suicide quite a bit. It is okay not to be okay. Yeah, it's okay not to be okay. There's a number 988. You can call. A lot of information on actually on borderlinebanter.com. There's numbers for a lot of things. Just go down. There's a lot of looks so you can check out to see if your family's just are having some stuff because they're signs.
Yep.
You don't realize the signs are there until it's too late sometimes. Dustin, have anything to say before we go?
I just want to say thanks to everyone who's watching us live and chatting along with us, and thanks for anyone who watches on the YouTubes later. Click some buttons and leave me some comments. I'll see if I can reply to you.
And yeah.
Oh, and I guess thanks, Mike, as well.
Yeah.
Because if I don't thank you, then you'll look at last week and be like, you didn't thank me this week.
I watch your videos over.
You do.
But yeah, thank you everyone being here. I'm gonna find someone to host that between Gats has changed his logo. Freaky's on, but I've done Freaky many. Let's go for a guy who doesn't have too many followers. There's this guy. I'm not sure what game he's playing, but his name is Obsolete 94. Check him out. Give him a like. Give him a follow. We'll see you all on Monday. Thank you very much. I've been here, but.
Obsolete.
Thank you so much for the raid of 8.